Discover the incredible transformation. How I found love in the heart of the alpha werewolf. In the quiet town of Maplewood, where the stars twinkled like diamonds above the sleepy streets, Sarah Thompson poured her heart into the bustling café that had become both her workplace and a second home. At 34, she was a hardworking single mother, navigating life with the resilience that came from both love and struggle. The scent of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sweetness of cinnamon rolls as laughter filled the air. Loyal patrons greeted her with warm smiles, each visit a small reminder of the vibrant community they had built together. Yet, as she wiped down the counter, she felt the weight of her daughter Lily's dreams pressing against her heart. Lily, all of 16, was filled with ambition and the unfiltered belief that life could be extraordinary. "Mom, remember your dream of becoming a chef?" she'd say, her eyes sparkling with hope. But reality had chained Sarah to the café, and the harsh truth of bills and long nights dimmed her aspirations. Just when the café felt like a safe haven, news broke out like a wildfire. A wealthy outsider aimed to buy and close it down, replacing it with a sleek coffee chain that would erase the town's cherished hub. Panic rippled through the community. Friends turned to Sarah, the heart of their gathering place. She clenched her fists, heart racing. "We can't let this happen," she declared, determination igniting within her. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As Sarah rallied her friends and neighbors, the town's collective spirit surged. But she found herself also drawn to someone unexpected. Jack, the enigmatic mechanic with broad shoulders and an air of rugged mystery. Whispers of folklore swirled around him, speaking of ancient tales and the resilience of pack loyalty. When their eyes met, a spark ignited, powerful and frightening. Could she, a simple waitress, really connect with someone so wild and different? The townsfolk's skepticism clashed with her growing affection for Jack. He was a force of nature, his presence both exhilarating and terrifying. In secret moments they shared exchanges filled with laughter and unspoken understanding, yet Sarah feared what others would think. Could love truly conquer the bonds of tradition? As the annual Maplewood Fair approached, a time of unity where generations gathered, Sarah felt the stakes rising. She stood before the crowd, trembling with emotion, her heart torn between the unwavering loyalty to her town and the undeniable pull toward the man who understood her heart like no other. Would they rally together to preserve their way of life? Or would the fear of the unknown drive them apart? This chapter lingered on the edge, the townspeople united, the air thick with anticipation. Sarah must find the courage to embrace a love that could transform everything. Would love overcome the conventions and fears that bound her? Or would the weight of tradition crush the hopes of a future alongside Jack? As the fair began, the spark of change shimmered in the air, hinting at the incredible journey yet to unfold. The Maplewood Fair was alive with excitement. Stalls adorned with colorful banners filled the park, their laughter mingling with the sound of cheerful music. Children ran past with cotton candy in hand, their faces smeared with sugary joy. Yet within the vibrant scene, Sarah felt a palpable tension coiling in her chest, like a tightly wound spring. She could see the unease flickering in the faces of her fellow townsfolk as they gathered, whispering about the threat looming over their beloved café. "Sarah!" a voice called out, bringing her back to the moment. It was Lily with wide eyes, waving her over. "Look at the Ferris wheel. Can we ride it? Please." Her enthusiasm was contagious, but Sarah's heart sank. What if today wasn't about memories but about endings? She forced a smile, filling her voice with warmth. "Of course, sweetheart. Let us make some memories." As they made their way toward the glowing Ferris wheel, Sarah caught sight of Jack. He stood by the food stall, his rugged figure a beacon among the chaos. He glanced her way, and the world around her faded into a blur. All she could see was him, the way his dark hair fell over his brow, and the way he seemed to exude strength and calm at the same time. "Hey," she said softly when she reached his side. "Hi there," Jack replied, his smile igniting butterflies in her stomach. "Are you enjoying the fair?" Sarah asked, trying to sound casual while her stomach twisted with nervous energy. Yeah, it's a good distraction, he said, his gaze steady on hers. There was unspoken understanding in his eyes that made her heart race, a connection deeper than the chaos surrounding them. But the moment soured as a familiar, tense voice broke through their bubble. Why are you hanging out with him, Sarah? It was Mrs. Grant, the town's self-appointed morality police. Jack straightened, his expression shifting slightly. Just talking, he said coolly. That man is trouble, Mrs. Grant declared, her tone accusatory as she glanced between them. You should avoid him for Lily's sake. The heat of embarrassment burned Sarah's cheeks. Jack is a good person, she defended, her voice wavering slightly. He cares about this town. Does he? Mrs. Grant countered, crossing her arms. Or does he care about feeding the rumors? We don't need outsiders like him putting our community at risk. Jack's jaw tightened, but he didn't respond. The tension hung heavy between them, and Sarah could see the hurt in his eyes. They weren't just battling skepticism, this was about loyalty, family ties, and deep-seated fears. Mornin', folks. A cheerful voice interrupted. It was Bob, the mayor, looking unusually chipper. Let us not forget that today's about unity. Come on, everyone. He motioned for the crowd to gather, his energy momentarily diverting attention. Maybe we should check in with others, Sarah suggested to Jack, desperate to ease the pressure brewing around them. Maybe we should, he replied, his tone heavy with disappointment. As they moved away, Sarah's heart ached. She could feel the glances lingering, the whispers growing ever more fervent. Would the bond they were forming withstand the judgment? Their connection felt electric, yet the weight of tradition pressed upon her with every step. With the town united under the fair's bright lights, she wondered, could she embrace this growing love in the face of adversity? As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over Maplewood, the Ferris wheel spun, lifting riders into the night sky. Sarah watched as couples laughed and held one another. Her heart raced at the thought of what she truly desired. From the corner of her eye, she saw Jack's silhouette against the fading light. Could she have the courage to embrace the extraordinary love waiting for her? Uncertainty flickered like the fair's lights. Would this fair mark a beginning or an end? Determining to confront her feelings, Sarah inched closer to where Jack stood. The night was just beginning, and she felt in her bones that something profound was about to unfold. Would it be love or a breaking point? The lights of the fair twinkled like stars, a canopy of color hanging over their heads. Sarah's heart raced as she took a hesitant step toward Jack, the noise around them fading into a distant hum. The moment felt suspended in time, as though the universe conspired to bring them together amidst the chaos. Are you okay? Jack's voice cut through her thoughts, warm and genuine. The way he looked at her, with a mixture of concern and curiosity, made her pulse quicken. I'm just thinking, she admitted, glancing away as a knot formed in her throat. About everything. He nodded thoughtfully, pushing his hands into his pockets. I know it's tough, but we can't let them dictate how we feel, he said, a fierce determination etching into his features. What if they're right? The words tumbled out before she could rein them in, filled with a vulnerability she didn't want to reveal. What if getting involved with you means putting Lily at risk? Jack's expression softened, confusion mixing with understanding. They don't know me, Sarah. But I see you. I know this town means everything to you. The sincerity in his voice tugged at her heart, igniting a flicker of hope. But just as quickly, that flicker dimmed with doubt. And what about you? You'll be seen as an outsider no matter how much you care. Maybe, he conceded, stepping closer, his gaze steady. But I don't want to be an outsider to you. The weight of his words hung in the air between them, each syllable anchoring her heart a little deeper. What was it about him? Perhaps it was his honesty, or the way he challenged her fears, or the way he made her feel seen. We can't let fear win, Jack said, almost breathless. Let us enjoy tonight. Just for this moment. A brave smile broke across her face, a surge of courage ignited by his resolve. Okay, she whispered. Let us do it. Tonight is for us. With a nod, they turned towards the Ferris wheel, joining the line of excited fairgoers. As they ascended, the world beneath them grew distant. The gentle sway of the gondola felt soothing, like a secret shared in the stars. Look at everything, Jack exclaimed, pointing out the lights twinkling across the fair. It's beautiful, isn't it? Sarah laughed, the sound spilling from her lips, unstrained and pure. Really is. She took a deep breath, the cool night air filling her lungs. In that moment, she felt a flicker of acceptance for her complicated emotions: love, fear, hope. They coexisted, weaving together like the strings of the Ferris wheel. As they reached the top, the view opened up before them and Sarah gasped. Maplewood sprawled out below, alive with light and laughter. Jack glanced at her, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Want to scream? Absolutely, she cried, the exhilaration bubbling over. They yelled into the night sky, their voices mingling with the distant music, a release of every worry. In that echo she felt unshackled, like a weight had lifted, a promise forming in the air between them. As they descended, the mood shifted. Suddenly her heart tightened at thoughts of the threats closing in. Mrs. Grant's voice echoed in her mind. Was she being foolish to enjoy this when there were so many questions hanging over them? Jack turned to her, sensing the change. What's wrong? What if this is all a mistake? She murmured, doubt threading through her words. Then it's a mistake worth making, he said firmly, capturing her gaze with a scorched intensity. You deserve to be happy, Sarah. His words wrapped around her, combating her uncertainty. Happiness felt fragile under the weight of their situation, but it also felt possible. And then the ride ended, and they stepped back into the thrumming heart of the fair. Yet something shifted within her. Let us find a quiet spot, she suggested, her heart racing, at once frightened and exhilarated by what she was about to say. But as they moved away from the clamor, the faint clinks and laughter faded behind them. Sarah's heart thumped heavily in her chest. Would this be a moment of confession or one of retreat? As they neared the edge of the park, a faint whisper caught her ear, the rumors, the fears, the impending change dancing like shadows around them. And she wondered if she had the courage to step into the light of love, or fall back into the darkness of doubt. What awaited them both could either illuminate their hearts or tear them apart. Would she step forward or would she hold back? Sarah's breath caught as they slipped through a winding path lined with trees, their leaves rustling in the soft breeze. The quiet space felt different, almost sacred compared to the chaos behind them. She felt Jack's presence beside her. Her heart raced with an electric mix of fear and anticipation. Each step forward felt like stepping deeper into uncharted territory. As they reached a small clearing, moonlight spilled across the grass like silver. Jack stopped, turning to face her, his eyes dark and deep. This feels perfect, he murmured, and though the words were simple, they hung heavily in the air. An unease settled between them like a thick fog. Sarah shifted, her fingers fiddling with the hem of her jacket. Jack, can we talk? Yeah, of course, he said, pushing his hands into his pockets again. He was patient, waiting, but she could see the worry etched on his face. What are we doing? The words slipped out, barely a whisper. Is this real? Or just a moment? She wished she could snatch them back the moment they left her mouth, absolute silence constricting her chest tightly. His brow furrowed as he stepped closer, his eyes locked onto hers. I want to make this real. I like you, Sarah. A lot, he confessed, his voice steady yet soft. But I wouldn't pressure you into anything you're not ready for. The sincerity in his tone made her heart flutter, and for a moment, hope bloomed. You have no idea how alone I've felt since everything shifted in my life. I can't pretend to know your struggles, Jack said, his voice warm, but I want to be here for you. I want to help carry that weight. The world seemed to pause. For the first time in a long while, Sarah allowed herself to let go of the past just a little. She opened her mouth, words tumbling out. But it won't be easy. People will talk. They will judge us. She glanced away, not ready to see the disappointment in his eyes if he couldn't handle the reality of their situation. Let them talk, he replied, unwavering. What matters is how we feel. What we want. Sarah's breath hitched. His confidence unraveled her barriers, making room for something new, something real. Could she really risk it? I want to be brave. The admission escaped her lips before fear could swallow it whole. But I don't know how, Jack. Her eyes softened, pleading for understanding. You're here with me now, he said, stepping even closer. That's brave. Just look at us. Look at this moment. He gestured at the fair lights glimmering in the distance. You can make your own path, Sarah. The warmth in his voice wrapped around her, igniting the spark growing inside her. She took a small step closer, her heart hammering, urging her to embrace what could be. I want to try. A smile broke across Jack's face, bright and infectious. Yeah, really? He reached out, his hand brushing against hers, sending tingles cascading through her body. Then let us make it count. In that quiet clearing, amidst the whispering trees and shimmering stars, Sarah felt the weight of her fears begin to lift. A flicker of hope ignited, mixing with courage. I want us to be more than just an escape, she whispered, her pulse racing. Jack nodded, understanding in every line of his expression. Then let us be honest. Whatever happens, I've got your back. Just as their fingers intertwined, laughter erupted from the fairground, jolting them back to reality. The noise seeped into their sanctuary, pulling them back into the bustling world they had momentarily escaped. A nagging thought crept in again: would their connection withstand scrutiny? As doubt surfaced and the bright colors of fun took on a tinge of uncertainty, Sarah sensed a change in the air. She paused, peering into Jack's eyes, searching deeply for answers that might not yet exist between them. Will everything stay the same? Jack's grip tightened on her hand, determination flooding his expression. We'll make it work, I promise. As they lingered in that suspended moment, Sarah realized she had a choice to make: a leap of faith into the unknown or retreat to the comfort of fear. Could they build something lasting amidst the howling winds of judgment? With that question echoing in her mind, she knew the night was far from over. Would she dare to take the next step forward? Jack's grip around Sarah's hand felt like an anchor, grounding her in that cascading moment between fantasy and reality. The laughter from the fair faded into the backdrop as something deeper twisted within her. She wanted to embrace it, the thrill of being with him, of letting go of the past, but the world outside that clearing loomed large. Let us go see the fair, Jack suggested, his voice bubbling with excitement. It'll all be fun. We can forget everything else for a bit. Sarah hesitated. What if people see us together? The thought weighed heavily on her chest. Let them see, he replied, his tone firm yet tender. I'm not ashamed to be with you. His words sparkled like the starlit sky above them, igniting a flicker of courage within Sarah. What she feared most was slipping away, giving room to the parts of her that longed for connection. She could feel the warmth of Jack's enthusiasm wrapping around her slowly, coaxing her to step outside of her comfort zone. Okay, let us go, she said, a tentative smile breaking through. They moved as one, hand in hand, towards the sounds of joy. As they emerged from the trees, the fair laid out before them like a vivid tapestry woven with laughter, colors, and the delicious smell of popcorn. Each vibrant stall and twinkling light signaled life continuing forward, thriving in a world she had closed off from her heart for too long. Look, Jack pointed excitedly at a colorful carousel turning cheerfully. Let us ride the carousel. It'll bring back memories. When they hopped onto a horse, her choice a white one, and his a deep brown, the laughter punctuated the air around them like music. As the carousel spun, Sarah felt the dizzying rush of wind and light, the childish delight awakening old, forgotten feelings. She glanced at Jack. His face lit up with a carefree grin that sent warmth radiating through her. This is fun, she laughed, the sound tripping out before she could contain it. She felt like she was floating, carried along by joy. See, it's not so bad, Jack said, his eyes sparkling like the lights that surrounded them. But even in that bliss, doubt whispered back, tugging at her. What would happen when the sun rose, casting light on their decisions? How would they face the whispers, the glances from classmates who wouldn't he understand? As they dismounted, Jack caught her hand again. Want to try that? He pointed at a booth where a giant stuffed bear hung above a laughably small carnival game. The giant colorful bear seemed to beckon, promising comfort and laughter. Sure. Sarah felt playful again, surrendering to the childlike joy. She wanted to give this a chance, this moment, this person. Jack approached the game, playful mischief in his gaze. I bet you I can win you that bear. You're on, she replied, excitement bubbling. Jack hopped to the booth, his determination radiating off of him. Sarah watched him, her heart swelling. He aimed with focus, the ball flying through the air. He missed. He grinned sheepishly, and Sarah couldn't help but giggle. Another try. Another miss. It's harder than it looks, he admitted, feigning defeat while she laughed. I believe in you. She cheered, her laughter lifting him. With newfound conviction, he readied for one last throw. The ball left his hand with assurance, hitting the target squarely. The giant bear came tumbling down, and the operator bellowed, "Winner!" Jack turned to her, his expression a mix of excitement and disbelief. "I actually did it." The bear was huge, its softness beckoning. Jack handed it to her, his face blossoming with pride. "This is our first win together." As she hugged the bear to her chest, a wave of warmth washed over Sarah. "I feel like I can do this." Her voice was small yet full of hope. Jack leaned closer, wrapping an arm around her waist, pulling her into him. "See, the first of many. Just keep moving forward with me." The crowd moved around them, color and noise pulsating. Sarah's worries faded into the background like a forgotten melody, and in that moment, surrounded by laughter, her heart felt lighter. Yet just when the euphoria surged, a familiar face emerged from the throng, a classmate she recognized, a flicker of disbelief crossing her features. There it was, the judgment she had feared, crumbling the fragile sense of peace she had pieced together. "Jack," she said, her heart racing. He turned, following her gaze. The world around them shuddered, and a chill crept back in. Would this change everything? As the reality of their moment began to fracture under scrutiny, Sarah felt her breath quicken. She could either stand strong by Jack's side or let fear slip her back into shadows once more. Could love thrive amidst misunderstanding? Would she choose courage again, or retreat once more? Sarah's heart raced as she watched her classmate's expression shift from surprise to a smirk that pierced her resolve. The laughter and lights around her faded into an awkward silence. It was as if time slowed, the buzz of the fair dimming in the face of this looming judgment. "Is that Sarah?" she heard her classmate call out, voice dripping with condescension. "I didn't know you were into this kind of thing." Jack's hand tightened around hers, grounding her amidst the rising tide of embarrassment. "Ignore her," he whispered, lifting his chin defiantly. But Sarah felt exposed. Parents and teachers might be watching. What if they heard? What if she became the subject of whispered conversations? Doubt darkened the edges of her joy, tainting the soft warmth of the bear she held. "It's just a fair," she muttered, but the words felt weak. "Just a fair," Jack echoed, voice steady. He stepped forward, pulling Sarah with him to face the classmate squarely. "And I'm just a guy who likes to have fun with his girlfriend. What's wrong with that?" The classmate blinked, taken aback by Jack's boldness, but her smirk only grew. "Girlfriend, huh? Guess we all have our tastes." Something inside Sarah twisted painfully. She squeezed the stuffed bear tighter, trying to find strength. "Let us go," she said, her voice quieter now, wanting to escape. "Not yet. You don't get to just walk away because she's throwing shade," Jack insisted. His voice was a steady presence against the storm, but fear welled up in her. What if everyone sees us like this? "We'll face them together," he said firmly, eyes searching hers for understanding. "If they can't accept who we are, that's on them, not us." The world around them resumed its joyous pulse, yet Sarah felt like they were in their own bubble, the weight of judgment heavy above. Could she really do this? Would stepping into the light with Jack only bring more pain? Inhaling deeply, Sarah took a step forward. "I choose this," she whispered. Her voice felt like a promise. Jack's gaze softened. "You choose this," he echoed back, a smile breaking through. He turned slightly, placing himself between her and the judgmental classmate. "Let us enjoy the fair? Or do you want to just stand here?" As he spoke, that grin, the one that could weather even the strongest storm, spread warmth through her. It was a simple yet powerful declaration that she wasn't alone. Tangled in this moment, she finally felt the courage to take her place. "Let us go," she exclaimed, heart racing with determination. Jack beamed, leading her away from the classmate who still stood gaping, mouth agape. They walked past rides that whirled joyously, the music rising again to meet them like an old friend. "Where to next?" Jack asked. "Over there." Sarah pointed toward a bungee jump ride, heart pounding at the thought of the exhilarating rush. "Are you sure?" His eyes sparkled with mischief, and for a moment, the thought of hesitation loomed. "Yes," she laughed, thrill igniting in her chest. "I want to jump." "Then jump we will," Jack shouted, his voice vibrant in the air. They dashed toward the ride, laughter spilling from her as they shared the exhilarating anticipation. But just as they reached the line, Sarah felt a hand on her shoulder, freezing them both in place. She turned slowly, dread pooling in her stomach. It was another classmate, a friend from another circle, and he looked shocked. "Oh my God, Sarah, is that Jack?" Panic flickered in her heart, and she glanced at Jack. His brow furrowed, unsure of how to react to yet another confrontation. Would this be another test of their fragile acceptance? "Hey," she managed, holding onto the bear as if it could shield her. Jack gave her hand a reassuring squeeze, waiting for her to lead. Was it only judgment that awaited her? Or could there be something more, a chance at acceptance among friends? With her heart pounding and adrenaline surging, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to face whatever was about to unfold. What revelation lay beyond the fear? The moment hung heavy in the air. She felt the reassuring squeeze from Jack, but her pulse raced like a wild drum. The classmate's eyes were wide, a mix of surprise and something she couldn't quite place, curiosity, perhaps? Fists clenched, she prepared for the worst. "Yeah, it's me," Sarah said, her voice steadier than she felt. "What is it to you?" "Just wow, I didn't know you'd be here with him," her classmate replied, eyes darting curiously to assess the situation. "You two make an interesting couple." Jack's grip tightened again, a challenge sparkling in his gaze. "Interesting. We're having fun. You should try it sometime." "That's cool," the classmate said, a slight huff escaping her lips. "Just don't get too carried away, okay?" Sarah's heart ached. What did that even mean? Share a moment with someone who could judge them for their happiness? Pain flared in her chest again, but she drew a deep breath, refusing to let the negativity engulf her. "Thanks for your concern, but we're fine," she asserted, stepping forward and embracing what felt like her newfound strength. "We're just living our lives. If you have a problem with that, that's really up to you." The classmate blinked, her smirk faltering for a heartbeat. Surprised murmurs echoed around them, catching the attention of a few passers-by. Sarah could see a glimmer of uncertainty flickering in the other girl's eyes. Jack grinned, pride radiating from him, and Sarah felt buoyed by the energy of support. "Look, we're not here for drama. We just want to enjoy the fair," Jack interjected, his tone light despite the underlying tension. "Yeah, let us go," Sarah added, hoping to break the ice. "We have things to do, like trying that bungee jump." She pointed energetically to the towering structure that loomed in the distance, where brave souls flipped through the air like acrobats. "Right, totally," the classmate shrugged, still somewhat bewildered. "I guess have fun." She stepped back, the moment ending with an awkward tension that hung lightly in the air. But Sarah couldn't help but feel victorious. "Let us go," she shouted, the exhilaration bubbling up as they left her behind. As they approached the bungee jump, the weight of judgment started to dissolve. The thrill of the ride beckoned. Sarah laughed, the sound airy and bright. "Can you believe that almost just happened?" Jack chuckled, forcing aside the remnants of tension. "You handled that so well. I'm proud of you." "Thanks, Jack," she murmured, stealing a glance at him. "I guess I'm finally starting to believe in us." They walked hand in hand, anticipation bubbling as they joined the line for the bungee jump. The thrill of the fair buzzed in her veins like never before. With every passing moment, Sarah felt the boundaries of her world expanding as they reached the front. A sudden flash of uncertainty hit her stomach. "You really think we should jump?" She hesitated, fear creeping back in. Jack looked at her, excitement sparking in his eyes. "We're in this together. Just imagine the rush." Heartbeats raced in unison, exhilaration pulling her forward while doubt clung like a shadow. Was this metaphor for something deeper, a leap of faith into who she was becoming? Before she could overthink it, they were strapped in, a rush of adrenaline flooding through her as they prepared for the plunge. On 3, the operator counted down, and the world narrowed to a point of sheer anticipation. With the crowd behind them, voices pulsed and merged into a single roar. The safety measures secured them tightly, but could anything secure her heart against the swirl of doubts? 1, 2. Their eyes locked, both ready to embrace the unknown. 3. And just like that, they leaped, the world tumbling away beneath them, leaving everything, expectations, fears, judgments behind. As the wind rushed past, Sarah screamed with pure freedom. This was more than a jump. It felt like they were flying. But as they swung back toward the earth, a thought flickered, a revelation born in that dizzying moment of flight. What if they truly couldn't return to the way things were? What if everything changed from here? The ground was rushing back toward them, but the question lingered, would fear conquer or would love lead the way? Sarah's heart raced faster than the ground rushing up to meet them. The moment felt electrifying, a blend of fear and exhilaration that washed over her, cleansing away the anxiety of judgment. She screamed, not out of fear, but out of a primal joy accompanied by the wind whipping through her hair. True freedom was right there. She was alive and experiencing every second with Jack by her side. As they soared higher, momentarily defying gravity, the world below faded into a blur of colors. Sarah caught a glimpse of the fair, a kaleidoscope of lights and laughter, but it felt distant, almost unreal. Here in this moment the only thing that mattered was their shared adventure. Jack's laughter pierced the wind, and his face lit up with joy, echoing her own feelings. "This is amazing," he shouted, adrenaline making his voice almost unrecognizable. "Yes," she screamed back, a smile stretching across her face. But as they swung back and forth, the thrill began to morph into something else, a reflection of their relationship. After they landed, would they be the same, or would they leave this ride changed in ways they couldn't yet understand? The harnesses clicked open, and they stumbled out onto solid ground, breathless and alive. Sarah leaned against Jack, pulse still racing as they both caught their breath. "I can't believe we did that," she exclaimed, the surge of adrenaline still buzzing through her. "See, you had nothing to be afraid of. We're a team." Jack grinned, pulling her close. She could see the warmth in his eyes, and for the first time, her heart felt completely at ease. Whatever was to come, she knew they could handle it together. But just as she thought of the weight of their leap, her thoughts turned back to the girl from earlier. The unease started creeping in again, like shadows on the cusp of twilight. What would people say? Would Sarah step back into the confines of judgment that had plastered previous years of her life? "Jack," she started, but he interrupted, sensing the shift in her mood. "Don't think about it. Let us just enjoy today." His voice was bright, his hand tightening around hers like a promise. She stole a glance around, focusing on the familiar sights of the fair, the laughter, the lights, the delicious smells of cotton candy and popcorn. "You're right. We should just get a corn dog?" Jack offered, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Yes, that sounds perfect." She laughed, the tension easing as they headed toward the food stall. But as they walked, a shadow crossed her mind. Could she really step back into normalcy now? What if jumping was just the beginning of a transformation she hadn't signed up for? That question hovered just above the surface, waiting for another leap to engulf her thoughts. As they indulged in their food, she found herself stealing quick glances at Jack, trying to decipher the path ahead. The electric energy between them buzzed, but doubt still danced on the fringes of her mind as they devoured their snacks. The sun began to set, painting the sky in swirls of orange and pink. Sarah leaned against the fence, heart swelling as she watched Jack playfully gesture toward the sky. The beauty in that moment wrapped around her, urging her to find clarity amid uncertainty. "What's next?" she murmured, looking up at him, the horizon stretching out like untamed waters. "What do we do now?" His smile faded a fraction, and she could see the moment turn serious. "We take it one step at a time. Let us just keep leaping." And with that simple statement, Sarah felt the thrill of the day start to blend into the next chapter of their story. The thrill of adventure and the fear of the future somehow entwined, creating hope. Would they leap together again? What awaited them next in this wild fair of life? As they headed toward the next ride, one thought echoed in her mind. Did she have the courage to embrace the plunge into the unknown? Or would she let doubts pull her back? The laughter of the fair began to blend with the sweet sound of the setting sun. Jack's hand still held hers, grounding her as they walked toward the entrance of the next ride, a towering spin of colors with a dizzying ascent. It was a stark contrast to the whirlwinds brewing in her mind. "What are you thinking?" Jack asked, glancing sideways at her, the keen curiosity in his eyes both disarming and inviting. Sarah drew a deep breath, the aroma of popcorn and carny treats swirling around her. Just about what's next. She could hear the uncertainty in her voice, and it made her feel exposed. Jack stopped, turning to her fully. "Hey," he said, his expression serious now. "We don't have to do this if you're not ready." She shook her head. "No, it's not that. It's just I want to leap. I feel that. But what if I'm still holding on to the past?" "You're not," he replied, unwavering in his confidence. "You just spent 5 minutes flying. You faced your fear. Don't let old worries hold you back." Sarah looked into his eyes. Those familiar deep pools were a compass guiding her forward. Yet there was still a voice in her head whispering doubts. I'm scared, Jack. What if I'm just pretending? What if we can't handle it? Her voice cracked slightly, vulnerability spilling into the air around them. Suddenly, the spinning ride roared to life. The mechanical were cutting through her thoughts just as swiftly as it had thundered over the ground. Moments like this are just the beginning, remember? Jack said, offering her a soft smile that broke through her clouded thoughts like sunlight. After a heartbeat of silence, she nodded slowly. He was right. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I guess let us just see where it goes. Jack's grin broadened as they made their way toward the queue. The anticipation throbbed through her veins, energizing her as they awaited their turn. The people around them were cheerful, children's voices ringing with delight while adults glanced up with mischievous smiles. The ride was wild, and as they climbed higher, Sarah could feel the thrill sparking her heart. With each twist and fast drop, her laughter mingled with Jack's an infectious joy that ignited the air around them. See, you're doing great, he shouted over the rush, and for the first time, Sarah let herself believe it as they disembarked. The world spun slightly. It was as if everything was lighter. What's next? She asked, fueled by the adrenaline coursing through her. Let us go play some games, he suggested, his eyes dancing with excitement. They strolled through the fairground, stopping at booths filled with vibrant prizes. Jack challenged her to a ring toss, his competitive spirit igniting sparks in her. She watched him throw the rings, marveling at the way he concentrated, and she felt a warmth in her chest. One by one, the rings fell gracefully onto the pegs, bringing the announcer's enthusiastic cheers. You're going to win, she cheered, and Jack's spirit seemed to soar as the crowd around them whispered their encouragement. But then, out of the corner of her eye, Sarah spotted the girl from earlier, the one who had shot her that judgmental stare. She stood there in the shadows, a group of friends laughing at something behind her. The sight of her tightened Sarah's chest, and memories flooded in. Was judgment ever really far away? Sarah, are you okay? Jack's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. Just then their eyes locked, and that judgment became a weight on her shoulders. Maybe we should go, Sarah said, and it was like her breath caught in her throat. Go where? Jack asked, surprise flickering across his features. There it was again, the mounting pressure of expectation swirling in the air between them. Can we just go? I don't want to think about it right now. Sure, Jack replied softly, sensing her discomfort. But uncertainty seeped into her belief as doubts began to reclaim their hold over her. They began to walk. Each step felt heavier. The laughter of the fair faded away like a distant memory, and it left Sarah questioning. Did her fear of judgment slip back in, swallowing her newfound joy whole? Deep down, she knew the answer didn't lie in the girl watching from the sidelines. It was within her, waiting for the next leap. Jack, she began, the weight of her question looming. Can we still leap together even when things feel uncertain? His expression softened immensely, the connection between them palpable. Always, no matter what. That's what being a team means. As his words hung in the air, Sarah stood at the precipice of something monumental. She could feel the universe pulling her toward another leap, one that went far beyond roller coasters and fairs. What would that leap look like? The ride of her life was just beginning, and she didn't know where it might lead her next. The energy of the fair still buzzed around Sarah as she stood with Jack, uncertainty coursing through her like static. The flickering lights above sparkled with the promises of adventure, but her heart felt heavy. Had she really chosen to step into this love? With fear creeping in, she had to confront her thoughts. Jack, can we find a quiet place? She asked, seeking solace amongst the laughter and exhilaration that surrounded them. He nodded, that warm smile still lighting up his features, and they slipped away from the noise, moving toward a haven distance from prying eyes. As they meandered through the maze of the fairground, Sarah stole glances at Jack's profile, admiring the resolve that radiated from him. Walking hand in hand, it was as if their fingers interlaced their shared dreams and fears, weaving them into a tapestry of possibility. They eventually found a secluded corner near the food stalls, where the scent of hot funnel cakes wafted through the air, mingling with the sweet aroma of cotton candy. Sarah leaned against a fence post, the wooden texture grounding her nerves as she finally mustered the courage to speak. I want to be open about us, but she faltered, the weight of her worries pressing down on her chest. Jack took a step closer, his eyes locked onto hers, focusing all his attention on her. But you're scared of what others think. I get it. His voice was steady, full of empathy. It's not easy to take this step, but we can do this together. His unwavering support soothed her racing heart. I just don't want to pull Lily into any kind of drama, or bring judgment down on her, she admitted, vulnerability spilling out. Your happiness is important, Sarah. And that includes Lily. If she sees you living your truth, she'll learn to do the same. Jack's words sank deep into her soul, igniting a flicker of hope that shone like a beacon. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the sun as it dipped lower in the sky, casting a golden glow over everything. You're right. I can't let fear dictate my happiness. I want you by my side. Jack's eyes sparkled with encouragement and pride, filling her with an overwhelming sense of belonging. Then let us embrace everything, no matter what happens. With renewed confidence, Sarah nodded, determination washing over her like a tide. She stepped forward, their eyes locking, hearts pounding together now. Let us go back to the fair. She felt a surge of energy as they joined the lively throng again. This time it felt different, like they were emerging from the shadows into a vibrant eruption of color and joy. They stood together, united against the whispers of doubt. Jack took her hand, leading them toward the game booths again. Wanna try to win another bear? He teased, glancing at the colorful prizes hanging over the colorful stalls, their laughter climbing toward the sky. Only if you promise to keep teasing me when you miss, she shot back, her laughter floating on the evening breeze with renewed vigor. They began to play games, the world around them bursting with life and laughter once more. Sarah felt lighter, her fears dissipating like clouds on a sunny day. As the fireworks began to explode in the night sky, scattering brilliant colors overhead, she caught herself feeling grateful. She glanced at Jack, who stood with fiery determination, pride echoing in his eyes as they celebrated small victories together. At that moment, everything clicked into place. The love they forged amidst the uncertainty had transformed her. She felt alive, stronger, and more empowered. They watched the spectacle before them, their hands clasped tightly. Whatever hurdles come our way, we'll face them together, Jack said, his voice filled with conviction. Sarah squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with courage. Together, she echoed, letting the sentiment sink in. They were ready to face whatever came next. Hand in hand, hearts intertwined. The fireworks cascaded with vibrant bursts of light, illuminating the town of Maplewood below. In that crowded fairground, amidst laughter and excitement, Sarah found her home, not just in the café or in the town, but in the heart of the man beside her. She had embraced love, hope, and the promise of tomorrow. And as the last firework fizzled out, painting the sky with remnants of color, Sarah knew this chapter of her life was just the beginning. A tale of endless leaps into the unknown awaited. She was ready to write it with Jack, side by side. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it makes a real difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of backing the channel through these actions.